Welcome to another episode of the Side to Side Sportscast, where it's your boys, Woody and CJ, and we're all here to break it on down from the court side, the ring side, the sidelines, and for all them sports they play outdoors, we outside. It's a Side to Side Sportscast, and that's how we ride. So we got a special edition of this sportscast where we actually have a guest. We have a guest backstage. CJ, I think we're gonna bring him front and center.
Let's bring him on in. Bring him on in.
Kyle, are you here? Can you hear me?
I'm here for you. What's going on, gentlemen?
Welcome to the Side to Side Sportscast. Thank you for being side to side, riding with us. Okay. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us, who are your teams? Who are you rooting for?
Yeah, first and foremost, CJ, thanks for having me on, brother. Yeah, we go way back to them Salve days. Originally from New Jersey, so I'm a Knicks, Giants, Devils, Yankees for the most part. Right now living in Orlando, so I have season tickets to the Magic, so I can stay on top of my basketball a little bit. College-wise, I got to go Kentucky, but really just an overall sports fan, no matter what, kind of just a junkie for it.
That's it. So this is why me and Kyle got along, because, we like to get in some relentless sports arguments about,
true debates through and through where no one ever wins.
Oh yeah, you add a little boost to that in college. They get fun and they go into the hours of the morning. So me and Kyle go way back. But yeah, Kyle, why don't you tell us about, now we know your fandom. Give us some of your best sports memories. Like what's top of the charts for you?
God, you got to go back to, obviously probably my favorite time that I was watching NFL football was, the Immaculate Reception.
Again, man, these Giants, they dig out my soul every Tuesday.
Oh, all right, fine. Hold on. I'll start with this. All right, the Manningham pass first on the left-hand side down the line.
Yep.
Oh, it's just the perfect dime. The perfect dime.
Couldn't have been a better pass.
Truly. If Daniel Jones could do that, I wouldn't want Deshaun Watson on my team, who has multiple allegations against him. But it's probably the Giants, honestly, because I haven't been alive for my Knicks to do anything that I could consider remotely respectable other than make the playoffs or the play-in. Sadly,
Woody's got salt on that wound too.
Yeah, I mean, that makes two of us here.
Yeah, maybe I could say, Little Devils with Scott Stevens, that kind of era, because obviously, again, I don't have my teams down here, but I'll go see the Devils when they play Tampa or when they play Florida Panthers down here, and I'll travel down. But they haven't been the best.
The Lightning going to see that stadium is a fun place to go watch a game. I'll tell you what. Like, I'm not a big hockey guy, but I went, when I was down in Tampa, I went to go watch the Bruins play the Lightning, and that place is fun. It's a good.
Yeah, I woke up with a tattoo one morning the next day.
Oh boy, do we dare ask of what?
No, don't worry about it.
All right. So is that your worst sports moment? Like, let's talk about this one.
No. The worst sports moment also has to do with the Giants. It's when we kicked off the kick to what's his name, Deshaun Jackson. Against the Eagles.
Loss.
That's truly the point in my life where I saw, I was like, wow, this is not a good sign.
So yeah, I mean, back in the day, Jackson was just absolutely electric too. Like
the fact that he's still going means, he's got something going for him. Obviously, he's a very fast man. But the guy's been in the league so long. but at that point, he was just like literally he was a game changer. He was the the kickoff return guy, and we literally said before that play, do not kick to him. Kick it towards the sideline so it goes out of bounds. What does he do? Kicks it right to him.
So, perfect segue into do you have any most disliked players? As like if you say Tom Brady, I get it. But...
No, I don't hate Tom Brady. I hate Bill
Belichick.
Okay.
Right.
I hate Bill Belichick and his cutoff sweatshirts. Like, bro, figure it out. Either wear a sweatshirt or wear a t-shirt. Honestly, yeah. I mean, Tom Brady has grown on me over the years. He's done so much. But really, like a hated player. Honestly, I'm gonna say this, and it's gonna be kind of out of the blue, but like probably Patrick Beverly.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. No, like because I know those guys and they pissed me off when I played basketball. So like whenever I see him play, I was like, yeah, he's gonna get under my skin. Like like he's it. That's it.
Do you have a hated like team? Is there like an organization that you despise?
I mean, other than the Cowboys, yeah, probably just the Cowboys.
Them boys.
And it's really nothing to do with the team. Maybe it also has to do with Jerry Jones, but it's really mostly for the fans. They're the worst fans in the entire world. They're worse than Boston fans. They're worse than Philadelphia fans.
Shout out to Gaddy. Shout out to Gaddy, our other host here. He's our big Cowboys guy.
They're the worst fans in the entire world. Like, do you know what we always say this because I'm an old person now. How Wheel of Fortune always said this is America's game, and then the Cowboys say they're always America's team. But everybody knows Jeopardy's better than Wheel of Fortune.
That is factual.
Yeah.
No, is that a debate?
No, it's not a debate. I
thought CJ didn't.
I'm not going to sit here and argue that. No.
Jeopardy's better than Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah, it's you could participate more. It's like
the middle child that didn't get any love that tried to.
I mean, both games, but no, both games have like participation. Like I love guessing, the Wheel of Fortune, but I don't know. I feel like Jeopardy, you get more out of Jeopardy. You get more bang for your 30 minutes out of Jeopardy.
That's fair. That's fair assessment. But listen, let's get back on the sports train. If Side to Side was covering game shows, that's a whole nother. That might be down the funnel.
I just like that analogy to throw it there.
We can start talking about who the next game show host should be and all that. But like, no. But
bring me on for the next American Idol. I got you.
Okay. All right. Okay, that's part 2, right? No, but but seriously, let's get into some little football talk. All right, get back into the Giants. Talk about the recent stuff that's going on because we've started to hear rumblings of maybe Barkley's going to be on the move. What kind of return might you get for him? Obviously, before we even logged on the show, we kind of shot back and forth about Dable and showing and all that going. So, what if you're the GM of the Giants? What do you want to happen? What's your?
Yeah, and first and foremost, let me just say, obviously, you can't judge a book by its cover. We thought Joe Judge was going to be the savior of this Giants team, which obviously didn't happen, especially with Gettleman still there. Was shown there. I mean, as I said to you earlier, I think seeing those boots on the ground, really actually getting into it and going to those Senior Bowls, those All-Star games, getting his hands mixed in, really actually showing that he cares a little bit goes a long way to show the coaches like, hey, yeah, he's not just here to, just rely on a paycheck. But with Dable, other than him looking like, an accident attorney, I think he comes in bringing some great assets for us. What I would like to see if I was a GM, I mean, obviously, other than bolstering our offensive line to hopefully save Daniel Jones from dying. And again, I don't know if Daniel Jones is the answer. And I don't think Saquon Barkley really ever since his injury has been Saquon Barkley ever again. I think we really need to start just obviously building picks, maybe trade down, get more picks. I don't even think, maybe we take an offensive lineman for one pick and then we trade down and get more picks later in the draft. I just don't know if I can rely on 2 singular picks to change this organization right now.
So
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Obviously, this is like a long-term rebuild. You're saying?
Oh, it has to be. I mean, look at the wide receivers we're utilizing right now. I mean, our best wide receiver was Sterling Shepard.
Well, I thought Galladay was a good signing, but I don't even know.
But how old is Galladay? I don't even know how old.
He's only like 26, 27.
But it wasn't.
You guys overpaid. You guys overpaid.
Yeah.
But I thought he was going to be a number 1 for Daniel Jones. He just couldn't get on the field. Kadarius Toney was a good pick. He was electric. Right,
he truly is electric, but I feel like he's got that like Odell syndrome. It's like I'm gonna go fight a kicking net next time and things don't go right for me.
I mean, there's a lot of problems. I think they addressed. I've been on the record of saying I don't know if Dable was the right move. Listen, I can easily be proven wrong, right? I don't know how much of a part he played necessarily in Buffalo's success. And that's why I say that. But again, I am not an expert of the Bills. That's why we have other people come on and tell us what's going on in their neck of the woods with their teams. And we've had Bills fans come on and they love Dable. So who am I? Maybe he comes in, changes the culture of that team. Puts together a defensive unit that's respectable, because I think that's where it's going to start. Honestly, we're focused on looking at Barkley and Galladay and Daniel Jones. Good teams are built on that defensive side of the ball. We've said that time and time again on this show, leading into the Super Bowl. Look at the Super Bowl teams. Look at the score of that game. It just goes to show you, even the most elite offenses. I was coming into this postseason with my butt on fire, thinking that it's going to be the highest scoring postseason of all time. Just like we had loaded offenses, right? I thought there was going to be gun shows going on, and
there could have been gun shows if Odell didn't get hurt.
But for the most part, these games ended up being a lot lower scoring. Like that's not saying that they hit the under or anything, because I didn't take those bets. Clearly, I would have lost. But yeah, it was an interesting playoffs. I think it made for an exceptionally, like, one of the most entertaining NFL playoffs that I've watched. But the Giants, I don't think it's as long as you think it might be, right, for the rebuild. I mean, if they have some pieces in place, they have 2 top picks that frankly could be used on defense. That helps. 2 out of 11 guys on that side. That if their impact could make a difference.
You definitely
honestly.
I'm sorry, I have to say you need an offensive lineman, bro. Like,
thank you.
The line has been,
right. Yes,
it's been so bad, and it's so crazy to me, because every year, like, you do address it. Like, Gettleman, he drafted Andrew Thomas, right? He traded for Nate Solder. Like, every time, like, there's all these band-aids being put on, and for some reason it's not working. Like, Andrew Thomas wasn't seen as a bad prospect at all, but yet out of those 4 rookie tackles that got taken so high, he has been the least impressive. I mean, now I'm not even gonna lie, my boy Mekhi Becton is right there with him in the whole disappointing race. But you guys, I mean, Evan Neal, if Evan Neal's there at number 5, or Ikem Ikonwu, my apologies, Mr. Ikonwu, for disrespecting your name right there, but it's tough. It's not English. I'm trying my best. If either of those 2 guys are available at 5, I feel like that's a no-brainer. You got to take, because like you said, Daniel Jones can't die out there. He cannot die.
No, and again, if you look at it, I mean, what did the Giants defense allow points per games? Was it around 15 to 16 points a game?
25.
No way.
Points per game last year, yes.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, 15 is sounding pretty low.
24 and a half points per game.
I'm looking at the wrong.
Are you looking at the 2007 season?
2000.
Thank you, Woody. Appreciate you.
The Bills.
What are the Jets? What was the Jets?
The lowest points per game.
All right, chill.
Hold on. First of all, I want to blame one thing off the bat. Whenever they got onto the yacht was the worst time in, I should have said that was my worst time in sports. When they wore Timberlands on the yacht.
Yes. Everything did go downhill from there. That's a fact.
There's not a lot to look forward to after that shot. I guess you're right. That moment in history is just that's tough.
From that point on, we were the Jets twin brother.
The Jets were just a hair under 30 points per game. Just a hair.
No one was asking for real. Like that was a rhetorical question. We knew.
I just want to make sure the fans knew. And FYI,
everybody knows, CJ. All right, we were about to be historically bad. We're about to be the worst in the history of the NFL with our defensive coach. But that's a story for a different day.
Oh man, well listen. I'm not gonna. We don't have to keep pounding that one into the pavement. You know, we don't have Gaddy, our host in here. That's the master of the segue. You know, but I'm gonna do my best. You know, we were just talking about some stars on the Giants field, right? So why don't we take it to the court side and we'll talk some stars on the court, right? We had NBA All-Star Weekend. We'll talk that first, you know, because we had some stuff happen at the deadline that, you know, we can definitely bring up and chat about. And but most recently, we just looked at NBA All-Star Weekend. Okay. And to be honest with you, I can't say I was super entertained by a lot of it, you know.
Subpar.
Before I go with my rush of opinions on the dunk contest and the game and all that, I just have to call out that it was the worst idea to change this skills challenge where, and we talked about this in a different episode too, where we saw what was coming out, where it was, you know, or maybe it was even pre-episode, Woody, where we were talking about how the Giannis brothers were going to, or, you know, the Antetokounmpo brothers, rather, were going to be
Giannis brothers.
They're like Super Mario.
They might as well be, right? I mean, everybody knows what I'm talking about when I say that. So, like, you know, you got the three Antetokounmpos, you got three guys from Cleveland, and then you got three rookies, and it's like, who made this? Why Cleveland?
That was my medium sauce. Yeah,
Cleveland, cool, because it's in Cleveland, but like, what you're doing doesn't make sense, and it doesn't, like, why? We need to do better. And like, I was seeing even memes that were like, we got Reggie Allen, Ray Allen, and like the best 3-point shooters from all time out here. Why don't we just do a Legends 3-point contest? I was like, yes, absolutely. I would tune in.
That sounds amazing.
Get Larry Bird out there again. I'm sure he could probably still hoist a few up. Like, let's just, you know, I mean, I'm just down for like 1-on-1 contest, 2-on-2. Like, you know, change it up. That's more entertaining than this silly, let's grab 3 random people and throw chest passes through
moving objects. Yeah.
Right. I mean, I get it. The skills challenge, the NFL. We can dive into that too, comparison, but I won't. I'm not going to go down that track. I want to hear your take, Kyle. What do you think? What was your reaction?
Honestly, I completely agree with you. The only way they could make that better with that same concept is if they also made them all do the dunk contest.
All three, like
yeah, no, like even if you can't dunk, you have to try. like that would be the only way. I think that would be the only way to make it at least funny or watchable. Like if you did a Legends one, like Larry Bird, go try and dunk. Like
yeah.
Or Larry Bird has to throw up an alley-oop for like.
I'm down to watch the like Legends have a shoot off again. Like just like why not? Like,
No, and I thought it was a good attempt to try and change, because first of all, the skills competition in the NBA has always been the dumbest thing in the entire world.
agreed.
It's a literal elementary school relay race with professional athletes trying to do zigzags, in which you do literally when you're in 6th grade. And it's always been dumb. I mean, it's nothing. And again, we don't want to compare sports right now, but the NHL skills is way better.
Oh yeah,
way better. But there's got to be a way. I mean, again, the NBA adopted the Elam ending for the NBA Finals, which is awesome. You know, they've done so many things where they made that like so much better. I think they're gonna find ways. I really think the way to, again, one-on-one competition probably would be more fun than the dunk right now. But again, if you bring in, and again, it's if they want to do it, the correct dunkers, it can be better. I mean, we really thought, what's his name, Jalen Green. I mean, he can fly through the ceiling, but he just couldn't dunk. I mean, he just was missing everything. And I mean, really, what was it? The Zach LaVine and the what's his name? Yeah, the Aaron Gordon competition. From there on, it went downhill. So really,
you don't get the best dunkers. I don't think. I think you're right.
Maybe bring in some amateurs to like be like, hey, you could lose to an amateur and lose like $1 million.
I mean, the money, to me, the money just doesn't mean anything to them. You know, it's just like people are ducking out of these competitions. You're not getting the real stuff. It's like we just got to be more, just get creative with it. You know, like why not? Like if you had a 2-on-2 tournament, you know, that would be so much more fun to watch for me if you just had a big man and a guard. That's it. Let's see. Like we're gonna like literally day of, we're gonna pick them out of a hat. We're gonna randomize them. This pool of 12 players, and they're gonna do a little tournament. Games to 7. Final game is to 11. Boom. Let's go.
And do it like a round robin. How
that's like stuff you think about, like
game. Yeah.
In your dreams, like, oh man, what if like Steph was paired with Embiid against LeBron and you know Kawhi, like, you know, like what would happen, like, you know, whatever, but it would make it more entertaining than what I just saw this weekend.
Well,
yeah, 100%.
Let me defend a couple of things. Well, actually, let me not even start like that, because that is actually extremely misleading, because there's no one here or maybe in this country that is more disappointed with the All-Star weekend than me. But like for example, like with the Antetokounmpos and things like that, I like the themed like groups. I don't like the skills challenge at all. Something that I don't know if you guys remember that I used to love. This was literally my favorite like non All-Star game event of the weekend was the Shooting Stars challenge. I also love the celebrity game. I was a weird kid, I guess, growing up. I love the celebrity game, but I also love the Shooting Stars challenge.
Dude, the celebrity game was actually more watchable than everything else this weekend.
It was Myles Garrett, you know.
Yeah,
100%. It was definitely lit. But I'm saying, like, with that challenge, they took it was like a city, right? So it was like, let's say it's Houston. So they took a current star, a former star,
yes,
a
WNBA
I remember that. Star, and like they each had to make 2 shots, like before the other cities WNBA. Like I thought that was fire. Like I'm not gonna lie, like I really enjoyed that. I think the skills challenge itself sucked. 3-point is 3-point. They did see, and this is something that I always despise, is like now, like you have a money ball rack. So now when you break the record, you're not actually beating Craig Hodge. You know, you're just, having that inflated score. Shout out the Cat, winning it.
New Jersey, baby.
Yes, sir.
You already know. For the dunk contest, the big one, right? Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine, that was like the only good dunk contest of the last like 13 years. I want to say 13, 14 years. It's been a long time. And a major problem is definitely the like people backing out, right? Like, back in the day, Kobe, VC, Tracy McGrady, like these are, perennial all-stars.
Do we blame LeBron for that?
Do I blame LeBron? I don't want to say, it's not one person's fault. It would have definitely helped him. But I was about to say we didn't see him. But D Wade was part of that draft class, and he had hops out of the gym. I mean, everybody pretty much since then, just opted out. They followed their lead, and now someone like Ja Morant isn't. He feels like he's too Hollywood for it, and it did start with them. But can I say this is only LeBron James' fault? I'm not gonna say that. No. But it is tough. What do you? Are you? I mean, I know. I mean, I'm assuming based on our pre-show discussion.
No, honestly, I would blame LeBron in this situation because if you would have seen the game's biggest star be full forward to like, yeah, let's promote this thing, let's go big with this, he would have been in the dunk contest. And I think that once, obviously so many kids these days that are following him and, kind of growing up through these past 18 years that are now in the league, they're like, well, LeBron didn't think it was a big deal. Like LeBron didn't have to do it. I think that he kind of took the showbiz out of it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also the same way with the 3-point contest. Like, I feel like we didn't get to watch the league's best shooters shoot, right? Like, we got Trey. He was out there. But Cat winning it, great. Yeah, he's one of the best big men shooters in the game, period. No doubt. But Steph wasn't out there.
Are we going to put Steph in there like every single year? Like Steph has been in it like 6 years.
Yes.
That's the issue. Yeah.
Absolutely. Until he is not the best shooter in the league, bar none.
But let him chill. Like, it's also
let him chill. He's there. He's
there.
Let him go. No.
Beat
the best. Beat the best. If I was Steph, I'd be like, I am winning this 18 years straight. Like, I am cementing. Like I don't care. Like, just. Like, that's why I don't get like some of the mentality like that I had as an athlete was like I just would want to be out there just like if I know that I can win that contest every single year, I want to be in the record book because regardless of what my score is, if I've won that many times, people notice that. I mean, if you're like, I've won the 3-point contest 12 times. Yeah, that's something to put on your Hall of Fame resume.
I think, though, CJ, I mean, again, I agree with you because I was the same way. I mean, if there was any tournament that I was in and there was any type of 3-point contest or, all-star game, I'd want to be involved. But I think to a certain point, Steph's like, yeah, I already did this. Like, I am better than them.
Yeah, like he's done it so many times. He's going to have to play on Sunday. And he made 16
come on. What are we arguing that he's taking a lot of energy to go out there for literally less than 10 minutes and shoot basketballs that he does every single day in his off days in because he likes doing it. And now he can just do it in front of a freaking buttload of people. And then also make a little bit of extra money potentially if he wins it for charity. And then goes out and on top of that puts icing on the cake by being like, yeah, like I'll turn around for every single one that I do.
I feel like we'll see Clay there. Actually, I'm sure we'll see them both. But just to say, like every year, like
I would love to see Clay go against Steph.
We have.
When was that? What?
The year that Clay won, they were the finals.
Oh, that's when he beat him.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just that's kind of my point. I just want to see them both. Like, let's go. Give me the best.
But see, there in the dunk contest, there's been a 20-year drought. Like I'm not starting this debate. So stop. But Michael Jordan, right, was at the top of the league doing this dunk contest with Dominique Wilkins, making stars out of lesser known names like Spud Webb. And that. Through the 90s, trickled down to all those names that I said before. And then in 2002, it just pretty much abruptly stopped. And just has never really picked back up. There's never been a time where, Blake Griffin is probably the most, or Dwight Howard. And both of those guys are big men who we all know historically aren't tremendous dunkers.
Gerald Green was the last one that I remembered that was blowing the cupcake out on the top of the rim and
but he's not a superstar by any means.
Right.
He's nobody.
Yeah, Dwight Howard with the
Some of the
Superman
memorable
cape or
dunks.
whatever it was. I mean,
What's that?
Dwight Howard with the Superman like whole shindig.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There's that, but that's when it started to get like. He also brought like the theatrics to it, right? It was never really. It was about the dunks, right? It wasn't about like let's put on
jump over a car. When Blake jumped over a car and won, he did a normal dunk and jumped over a car. I was so mad.
It's like it's just getting foolish. Like that's why I keep saying like there's only so much you can do dunking.
But I completely disagree with that. I couldn't disagree more. We're just seeing bums. We're literally seeing bums in the dunk contest. The judges have been horrendous. I don't know what we have to do about the judges, but the judges has been the most egregious part of this dunk contest for the last 15 years. Blame
Dwayne Wade. I knew it was coming.
Dwayne Wade. I don't even know. He actually should have had to like write an apology before being accepted to the NBA 75, which he rightfully deserves after his horrific judging. Okay, like I'm telling, like the judges have messed it up. The theatrics, like people have gotten confused. That's what I'm saying. They've gotten confused. They've lost their way. Now people, they just want to, put on somebody's jersey or jump over somebody, but the person's ducking and they push off. Like it's all. But I'm telling you, like Ja Morant. Some of the dunks that he was even attempting in the All-Star game were better. Go on IG right now. Go on IG right now. Look up Mac McClung's dunk.
We need the best dunkers in it, man.
And I mean, listen, I love the whole Cole Anthony throwing the Timberlands, do the windmill thing. But, like you said, Ja Morant's doing these dunks that you see in games that would win a dunk contest.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No doubt. He's just, but, it's just bizarre to me. I want to see and when we let's think about this for a second. We just went through all three main competitions. Sans celebrity game. Cool. That's not going to change. It is what it is.
Still love it though. We love it.
Cool. We love it. We love it. Shout out to Alex Toussaint, MVP.
That dude was hustling.
Dude, he does it for a living, bro. He does it.
He was going hard as heck.
Yeah, I love it. He was out there to win it. He had his game face.
He would have won the skills competition.
He probably would have, dude. He would have put up more points than the Antetokounmpo family. Did you see some of those shots? I was like, this is embarrassing. This is
what to think like Jack Harlow made a 4-pointer with his broken jumper. Like
Kyle, I'm confident that me, you, and Woody could potentially put up the same score as the Antetokounmpo brothers.
I actually would put money on that. I would
100%. We would beat them. 100%.
As borderline college basketball players, Kyle. Yeah. I know you and I have shot that distance before accurately. Yeah. Like and I
don't even have to be warmed up. Just throw me out there.
Just go out and hoist. Just go out and hoist to might be able to drop a couple. But geez, we just went through all three competitions, and all three we could either change or do without at this point. That's like the whole. There's just there needs to be something done to NBA All-Star Weekend, and I think that every single year they're trying something different with this skills competition, right? And they're just not landing on anything. And if I'm honestly, I agree with you, Woody. That Rising Stars thing where they got a legend, a WNBA player, and an NBA player to compete, and I think it was they ran to different spots that were worth different.
Yeah, that was electric.
Yeah,
and they just had to, fire it to the next person. Nobody could shoot twice in a row or anything like that.
Exactly.
So it was just that's cool.
That was fire.
Why did you stop that? That's awesome. Let's go out and get put MJ in this. Give me Allen Iverson with his chains. And his Tim's with
put
Julius
Delonte West out there. He's playing again.
Dude, let's get him on. That's
is he playing? Oh yeah.
Or take.
You didn't see those IGs?
Dude, put the Big Three championship during All-Star Weekend. like collaborate.
Oh, that's actually a really good idea.
You know what I mean?
Well, what about this? What about this whole, so overtime, they run a league. So why not put like the one who wins the overtime league against the shooting star, like the rookies? Like, let's see what happens there with these seniors in high school. Let's see how they go up against these guys.
Yeah,
that's
you got what's his name? Ja. He's what, 7'1"? He can go up against these guys. You got Mikey Williams. He can go up against these guys.
I mean, it would be interesting to watch for sure. Like, see, but this is all.
Hey, listen, if college athletes can make money, why can't high school kids?
That's what I'm saying. We keep spitballing at like a round table between the three of us. Like they got to do the same thing at the NBA board meetings and just be like, all right, what can we feasibly get like a 2-on-2 competition? Can we feasibly do any of this? Can we do a 2-on-2 competition, or let's make it a Rising Stars challenge, but we're going to make it 3-on-3. Big 3 rules, right? We'll take the literal Big 3 rules, implement them into this challenge, and like we'll give Big 3 a shout out to this.
They definitely should work with Big 3. That's a great idea.
Like, but like, why not? Like, if
is Big Baby Davis still doing that? Is he still playing?
I'm not sure.
I cannot tell you anybody on that roster besides like Al Harrington. That's like the only person.
Yo, Rhino's on it. Craig Smith is in the Big 3. That's
he's an active player in the Big 3.
I believe he's still on the squads. Yeah,
so that's what he's doing tonight, actually.
There, yeah. Whoops. But no, seriously though, like it would be. There's so many suggestions I think that they can make. They should definitely get the WNBA back involved because like they need the publicity for it. Why not?
They do have somebody in the celebrity game, but they need more than that.
But the celebrity game, they're washed out because you got all the celebrities in there, right?
Yeah,
like people are out there to watch.
They brought like the sixth woman. They brought like the 6th woman of the year in. They brought like a retired WNBA player.
They just need more. They need to do more with it. Yeah. Is what I'm saying.
I mean, but can you really put like Katie Lou Samuelson in there, like, or she's just gonna drop 28 and be like, "Yo, this is over."
but there were two. There was always one on each team. Like one year, I remember.
If you put Diana Taurasi in there, she's dropping 35, and she's.
I don't know if Myles Garrett is playing D.
Myles Garrett. Yeah, he's gonna make things tough on her.
Dunk on her.
Yeah,
he's ridiculous.
But like that's the stuff that like we want to see though. Like in all seriousness, like I feel like that's like lit. Like Diana Taurasi, Quavo, Machine Gun Kelly. Like get them all. Like and then they always throw in like a random vet. Like T Mac was there. The other time, like or Master P. Master P was there.
What was the one guy in this celebrity? It was Toussaint, right? My guy that hit with the spin move. He looks. He was the kind of skinnier. He was a skinnier dude, but he was a little bit smaller.
Yeah, it might have been.
Yeah, that sounds like
he actually looked like he had basketball skills.
Yeah, like he was legit. He was flying up and down the court, and like he put some good shots up. I was actually impressed. I was like, some of these guys are just like
a little floater in there and everything.
Yeah,
but
I will say though, I feel like they changed the we're talking about, and CJ was talking about how we're talking about spitballing and like Friday, Saturday. I'm completely down. I feel like they didn't need to change Sunday, and they've been changing that. Like now you like winning quarters, like all of that. I feel like is too much. Like why are you overproducing? This is just to be a game.
To be competitive, like when it came down to the last minute. There's just not going to be defense play. It's just kind of an aerial show, and how deep can they shoot it? And the only way to make that more competitive is by I guess throwing more dollars at people like to win the game, or like putting something, like the MLB made it so that the team
home court advantage, right?
Yeah, home court advantage.
They should do that.
Like
they should.
Why not? Right? Like put something on it so it makes them play a little bit. And there was mixed feelings on that with the MLB. I personally liked it. I was like, why not? Right? Like put a little.
You can't hurt.
Team, like so that people try. in these aspects of it. And they haven't had as much of a mess with it in baseball, as we've seen in football and basketball. Football is a whole different conversation. They don't even need to have a game. They should just do skills competitions, and that is
Pro Bowl's an absolute just gosh darn dumpster fire.
But we'll have to talk. We'll have to get Kyle back on for a session about probably just
dodgeball is pretty lit though. I do enjoy dodgeball. I feel like
straight up.
Little side topic.
Their skills competitions are awesome. I love watching just straight up give me a combine, put the offensive lineman out there and show me how much they can bench press and squat. I don't care. You know what I mean? It's the off season. They're gonna do it anyways. Just tell them to go out and I used to love all the QB challenges. All that stuff was super cool. If they could get people to just run straight up sprints. Tyreek Hill's saying that he'll race anybody. Cool. Get DK Metcalf and Tyreek Hill out there on Pro Bowl weekend and have them actually run a sprint, neck and neck against each other. And whoever else wants to join in, go for it. You know what? For point of reference, put Brady out there and have him try and beat him. Just have fun with it. And there's no point in having a game. And if they are going to have a game, I say you just honest, this isn't even a joke. Make it flag football. Because it'll be more interesting than what we're seeing.
It would be.
See, remember that tackle by Sean Taylor in the Pro Bowl?
Yes.
Oh,
against the punter, or was it the kicker?
Love it. No, it was
fantastic.
Yeah, it was QB. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Joey Harrington.
He just absolutely rocked him.
Yeah.
So sidebar on this is obviously in Orlando we held the Super Bowl or the Pro Bowl 2 years ago or before the pandemic. And I was managing a hotel where the NFL bought out our hotel. So we had all of the entire Pro Bowl was staying at my hotel. So I had, obviously Russell Wilson and Sierra were there, all of them. I mean, it was the whole thing. They gave us tickets to the Pro Bowl. And the best thing was these players didn't do anything to do with football. They went to Disney the entire time. They played ping pong. They did nothing to do with football. So I realized from that point on, I was well, if they don't care about this, I don't care about this.
I mean, yeah. Well, and by the way, I just want to fact check myself. It was Brian Moorman who Sean Taylor lit up. Brian Moorman was a great punter too. I actually out of all the punters that I remember, right? Brian Moorman's one of the guys who I remember every time he played the Patriots and punted 75 yards. I'm Jesus Christ, this guy's if the Bills are good at one thing, it's punting. But then after that, I don't know, maybe Moorman's career went downhill after the Sean Taylor hit. The guy was a monster.
I wouldn't be able to walk after.
Yeah, no, I mean, but I wish they played like that, but they don't. So we need to have skills challenges where they can actually try in little spurts and segments and not get hurt. So I'm down for that. It's a little bit harder with the NBA as we're seeing, and as we just literally broke down for the last 25 minutes. There needs to be something changed. There's definitely more entertainment value out there in so many other capacities. They got to figure it out. I don't think they're going to change the dunk contest to the 3-point contest just because it's there's too much history behind those two events that they're just trying to figure out better ways to do them. But to be honest, this whole skills challenge and, that third event is still just nothing's been solidified. And it feels like they've really tried to solidify the skills challenge and come up with something that people like, but nothing's stuck. And I sure as hell hope that they don't think this year's stuck. I really hope people didn't enjoy it because I didn't. And selfishly, I would love for it to not be there next year and I'm going to figure out something else. But that said, let's not go away from the NBA. Let's start talking a little bit about this second half of the season right now, because the final stretch coming out, it's a little bit shorter than the first half of the season. So we got teams. I mean, I don't remember the last time that I've seen so much parity in a full NBA standings, to be honest with you. It's this year in particular. I mean, you can say that the Suns are running away with it. 6.5 games up, I guess, on the Warriors. But now we're talking about the Warriors, who we know as well as anybody can go on a 10-game freaking run and just
It's
just
the same as
put people in their path. And like the Grizzlies are playing. I mean, we have so much parity happening right now in the NBA. I kind of want to know, what are your take on some of these teams, Kyle, as far as who do you think might end up outside the playoff picture? Who's going to trail off and not have as hot of a start? Because there's certainly some teams out there that could certainly,
if we're looking at the Eastern Conference, I'm a little scared still with that trade that just happened between the Sixers and the Nets. Will Ben Simmons play
in which direction?
In regards to the Nets? So obviously Harden is going to be quicker to get in with the 76ers than Simmons, I believe, will get in with the Nets. Obviously with Kyrie still dealing, I don't know if he is still dealing with COVID-related things. But with them being an 8 seed right now, I just think there's so much just like turmoil. Again, who do we really have looking after them? What, the Hornets and the Hawks? Do I think they're safe? I'd say 50-50. I love LaMelo. I think LaMelo will be a rising star for continuing years, and he's only going to grow into be a superstar. I should have said this. I hate the Hawks because what they did to the Knicks last year.
We deserved it.
That's true, but we don't say that, Woody. But really, I think that there's, I think the Nets just, I don't know if I can rely on KD being, again, probably one of the best scorers of all time. Is he a leader? Probably not. So I really want to see them. I could see them drop. I know they're 2.5 games ahead of the Hornets, but I could see that. I could see that being a little bit different in the foreseeing weeks.
That's a really interesting point. What's your take on that, Woody? Because when you've got a team, you look at it, you're like KD, Kyrie, Simmons. I think they're lucky to have a guy like Patty Mills, who's a veteran from the Spurs, been a part of that culture, really knows how to he's a veteran that people are going to listen to, they respect, they've seen him on the world stage, and now people forget this too. And frankly, I did before I started thinking too much about it. I think he's going to work well with Simmons. Those two together could be a fun little duo. And it's funny. I mean, they're both the Australian blood. And it's gonna be interesting.
Ben Simmons went to IMG. He's from Florida.
Okay. Well, listen, Patty Mills, veteran leadership. That was my point. They don't really have anybody, nobody's going to be out here listening. I don't think Drummond's the guy. He wasn't leading things in Detroit. If you want one guy to be a rock in that locker room, it's not going to be KD. It's not going to be Kyrie. It's certainly as hell not going to be Ben Simmons. You can't look to Seth Curry and ask him to do that. There's just the only one who's going to command that respect at this point, in my opinion, looks like Patty Mills, and they're lucky they have him, or else that situation, to me, would be going along the lines what you said, is the wheels could fall off at any moment.
I agree that Patty Mills is an underrated presence. I think, you kind of broke that down beautifully, but I think I don't think we can count out KD as a motivator quite yet. Kyrie, we definitely can. I mean, but
KD is a motivator. What's the difference from his burner account?
Hey! I mean, Michael Rappaport isn't on his team. I'm talking about with his team, with this guy, KD. I know he pretty much left OKC high and dry. How he disrespected Russ. Now, in hindsight, the allegiances between those two have kind of changed a little bit. But I feel like at the heart of it, KD is a baller. He's a gamer. I'm not saying that he's an elite motivator, but to say that officially, to be 100% certain that he's not, the way that we can all feel very confident in saying that Kyrie is not, I think is totally unfair. That's what I'm saying. I think it is possible that he can rally this team because he's obviously super duper motivated to win a championship on his own, because that's his biggest knock. You know, a lot of people respect him as, you know, no matter how they feel about him, they respect him as one of the greatest scorers ever. But he's a guy who literally had to flee. He had to flee to the team that came back from 3-1 and beat him in order to win a championship. Like, this was his chance to win by himself. And we saw last year when he was literally by himself, you know, he willed them to that one win. And then, you know, in game 7 against the Bucks, he was a big toe. Imagine if he wore size 13 shoes, they would have made it to the finals. But my man is rocking the 15s, so they didn't make it. So I can't say definitively whether he's a motivator or not, but I will agree Patty Mills is a great person to have in the locker room. You know, Steve Nash is one of my all-time favorite players. I know he never won the big one, but I know he has a good head on his shoulders. So I like the Nets. I'm actually more confident in the Nets postseason chances than the Sixers, which might sound crazy because the Sixers are in a better everything right now. But I don't know. I mean, Harden and Embiid, you know, have a pretty rich history of kind of gassing out. Not even like, you know, shying away like Ben Simmons. I'm saying like literally like physically can no longer play in the playoffs. So I don't know. I'm not feeling. I would put more stock in the Nets postseason future than the Sixers after that trade.
What are we to say? How do we know Patty Mills is a leader just because his tenure in the NBA?
I'm putting it on the fact that he has been a leader of the Australian team, right? Like that when I don't care how much you want to talk about, you know, how the Olympics don't really mean anything or whatever, but getting a group of guys that quickly together and leading them to the success that he actually was able to with not the most skilled team. He was a captain of that team. And
didn't they have what's his name?
Didn't they have not the roster that the United States had?
Well, yes. Obviously not. No. Who's the big white 3-point shooter? What's his name? And I can't think of his name.
They had a couple of players on the Joe Ingles is probably.
Thank you, Ingles. Yes,
Ingles.
Hey, listen, big white lefty, K-Dubs, big white lefty. You know, that's what he is. So, you know,
it looks beautiful.
You don't see him a lot in the NBA, but that's why he's. Yeah, I know you got a soft spot for him, but Patty Mills,
you got to throw him out there.
He's also anybody who comes from the Greg Popovich tree, aside from Kawhi. Okay, I feel like has an understanding of like
championship basketball, what it takes,
what the culture needs to be like to be part of a winning team, right? Like get to the playoffs and how you need to act and prepare yourself and practice and set all those standards. And so just based on those facts, like, or I should say, you know, outside looking in, what would appear to be facts, right? Like, I mean, I think we can all agree on that as people who follow the NBA and follow sports. The Spurs are like one of the standards in the NBA, given their dynasties and their. I mean, you know, it's like the Pats. When you go into that system, you just expect something to come out of it, even if it's not immediate success. You've got experience in that organization that you can take with you, whatever.
Do your job, and everything else will work.
Right. I mean, there's the mentality to it, and so I think, you know, spending multiple years there helps. That really gets you into a rhythm. You can pass that on. And I think that people like KD and Kyrie won't really respect people like, you know, the Seth Currys of the world that are too young, that haven't really proven a ton yet, or you know, people that are just generally less skilled than them, which they think is everybody. Patty Mills,
it almost is everybody. Just to point that out. What they what? Yeah, so
half man, half a season, as Barkley called them. So you give me games, I'll get the best ability is availability and reliability, and both of them are not either of those things,
and not accountable either. So.
No accountability.
There's a lot of slander being thrown around. I don't know. I like both. I mean, Kyrie is tough.
Listen, the skill has never been questioned. Not by me.
Kyrie
is
unreal.
They're both ridiculous. They are both.
When I was playing AAU in New Jersey, Kyrie played for the New Jersey Roadrunners, and he dropped 45, and I didn't see him sprint one time. I swear to God, that man did not run one time. And I swear to God, I don't even know if he tied his shoes. He dropped 45 and just left. He was gone.
Oh, barely beat it a sweat. But that's I just feel like that's how both of those guys are. They're exceptional athletes, but the way that they're going to get to the promised land is through having guys like Steph, and Clay, and a supporting cast that'll get. Kyrie had LeBron, and there was people around them. I don't listen. Kyrie had Tatum and Brown, and just emotionally and mentally collapsed under for no.
That's what it is. The Boston Homer. I mean, don't get me wrong. Kyrie's not a leader.
He's not, and neither is KD. Neither is KD.
But see, that's what I'm saying. You can't say that. We don't know. We don't know. The jury's still out.
How?
What do you mean? We've never seen him have to leave. He joined it.
What? Because he left Texas after 1 year?
But
no. Where is he had success aside from Golden State? He lost. All right, so he lost to the Golden State Warriors. He made
it to the finals. What year was that? 2011, 12?
But he probably wasn't the leader in that locker room.
See, there's a lot of speculation going on. There's speculation. That's what I'm saying. You cannot definitively say Kevin Durant is not a good leader. You just can't do it. You can't.
So when did KD come into the league? That's
2008, maybe 2008.
So he was 3 years in, I guess, for that Oklahoma City run,
where he was obviously the best player on the floor.
Yeah, I mean, there's no. He's been the best player, best scorer on the planet,
as we said,
quite a bit of time. But you got to remember too, so if we look up that roster, you got leaders on that team that aren't that would be able to that he has to respect, because he hasn't been in the league long enough. For all it's worth, guys like Kendrick Perkins weren't taking crap from no one. Derek Fisher, you think KD had the right to look Derek Fisher in the eye and talk back to him? Absolutely not. No way. He had guys to tell him where to go, what to do, how to act, and now he's the big fish, and he's got to wear the shoes that tell people where to go and what to do, but he doesn't do it. He might do it through Twitter, passive aggressive.
But see right there, this is his chance to do it. You don't know. We don't know. This is our chance to see, can he lead a team to the promised land?
What do you mean this is our chance to see? He's well into his he's well into his 30s at this point. What are we waiting for? What are you
talking about? We're waiting for him to have his own team.
He's almost 34 years old. If he was going to be a leader, a known leader,
Patty Mills is 34 years old. What are you talking about?
LeBron did it. LeBron was a leader when he was 18 when he got into the league.
LeBron took that. Let's just look at LeBron.
Let's not even talk about LeBron right now, because all LeBron did was lead himself to South Beach. Okay, lead the flop movement. Okay, and let's not even go down that road. I'm talking about with Kevin Durant
is not a leader.
All of his success we are attributing to other people. We're saying you're talking about Derek Fisher, extremely old, washed up, useless Derek Fisher, who I am not disputing was definitely a presence in the locker room, but I'm saying we keep attributing now in Golden State. We're going to contribute that to the dynasty that he already joined, right? But now here is his chance. if he wins this year, it's him. That's what I'm saying. This is his chance.
But why? No, it's not though. Look at that roster. Are you kidding me? Is that a joke? Is this a joke? This is 2 years in a row that we've sat here and said we've looked at the Nets roster, and we've been doing side to side pre-program, before our launch, doing practice sessions, and we can go back and look at the tapes about how flabbergasted we were at like how good the Nets were going to be, just with like Kyrie and KD, and then along comes Harden. And like this is when they had Karis LeVert and Jared Allen, which by the way, if they didn't make any moves, they'd be better off right now, anyways. Just for the record, but like all of these guys that were let go before any of these freaking moves happened for Harden or any of these huge things. We've been talking about the Nets being awesome and title contenders, and they're going to run away with it, and it's going to be Golden State and the Nets for whatever. But like KD,
they're barely above 500.
KD has not led them there. KD hasn't even gotten to the finals yet. Like, I mean, he's just
it's been 1 year. Hold on, he was in the Eastern Conference Finals by himself. That was in 1 year. It's been 1 year.
The Celtics made it to the Eastern Conference Finals and made it to Game 7 and failed to LeBron James.
Is this the Boston Sportscast?
No, but I'm just giving you an example. Like, nobody remembers who lost in the semifinals. Like, who gives a crap?
But I'm saying no. What? Because you're making it sound. Your tone is as if he has been there time and time and time again and is failing. This is year 2 with the Nets. Like what? Like
and he's about to fail again.
He's a. I mean, now
you heard it here. You heard it here first, folks. You heard it here first.
Listen, hot take. That's not hot at all because they're the 8th seed right now. What do you mean he's doing awesome? He's
31 and 20.
He's really taking
but I'm saying you guys
by the
are
collar and dragging him along in the 8th seed. Sure, great, fantastic. Finish the 8th seed. That's going to be a fun first round for you against the Heat or the Bulls.
Oh, so do the playoffs start today? I didn't even realize they started today. Okay, all right. So the seeds are locked in today.
No,
these are the seeds. I didn't know. I thought they had a rest of a season to play.
Look at the bottom. It says final stretch, Woody. It's final
okay. I didn't know they started today. I thought. Okay. My bad.
It's all right. No, it's all right. Well, I mean, hey, right? Time will tell. We know, and this is a great part of the show where I can't wait. I was excited to do this because, frankly, we've been talking about it. Let's talk about who's going to get into the playoffs and who's not going to be in the playoffs because we got
out.
So we got in and out, not the burger. We are not eating burgers right now. We're talking about NBA standings and NBA playoffs. Okay, so right now, just for the viewers' sake, we'll list off. We're going to go through in and outs for the 8, 9, and 10 seeded teams currently, and we'll give you a little purview and share with you who the 7th and the 11th seeds are, just so you can get an idea. But Eastern Conference, we'll attack the East first. So the 8th seed is the Nets, who we were talking about. We got the Hornets, and we got the Hawks. So of those 3 teams that we're looking at, and we could even consider in the 7th seed the Raptors or the 11th seed the Wizards. Those are the teams that we might be looking at that are on the cusp in this conversation. Who do we think's in? What team is getting that 8 seed who is in the playoffs? And who is out by default?
Oh, well, I thought the playoffs started tomorrow. That's what I thought.
No, I was reminding you that it was the final stretch. They don't start tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Nets are in. They're going to be higher than 8. That's a foregone conclusion.
So they're going to jump above they're going to jump. How far up, Woody?
I mean, let me look at this. I mean, you're saying, they're going to jump above they're 2 games behind with like 30 games left to play. They could realistically finish with the 5th seed. That is possible.
I mean, it's possible they could finish with the 1st seed. There's plenty.
So are you saying the Raptors get dropped out, or who else moves in then?
Well, right now they're in the top 8. So literally these top 8 could
okay. All right. So do you believe that this is the top 8 that are going to be the Eastern Conference?
That's a good question. Honestly,
if the playoffs started tomorrow,
Well, I mean, obviously, if the playoffs start tomorrow, the top 8 would be the top 8. But if they start when they actually start,
right.
I have
like,
one team that I think would be in
all of that, right? We were talking about the play-in game and all of that, so I want to know like who makes it through, who is.
Oh, true. Yes, I think the Hornets are in, man. I think a lot of talk about LaMelo Ball. I think so underrated is Miles Bridges. This man. He's a candidate for most improved player. I mean, he's becoming a complete player in this league, not just a highlight reel, which he undoubtedly is, but he's becoming a complete player. I'm going with the Hornets. The Nets are in. Hornets are in. Trae Young, Ice Trae. Somebody left the ice out.
Listen, man, I don't want to interrupt you, but we got to point this out too. They just got Trez. Let's not forget that. They had a problem in the middle, right? Because they run a lot of small ball lineups, and Trez is your perfect small ball center because he's a rim runner. He is about 6'8", but he has got a massive wingspan, so he can guard the other centers. He's a tough body. He's going to eat the rebounds up. You play 4 in, 1 out. I mean, I'm sorry, 1 in, 4 out. That move is so underrated in my eyes. Like that, what a steal at the draft.
I agree with Woody here. I think again, Miles Bridges is like the Jeff Green with more actual skill.
Okay, I'll take that.
Sure. Yeah. I'll buy that too. I'll definitely buy that. And like the other thing that people forget is, they've just got so much switchable assets on the wings, because when they go with, PJ Washington, Kelly Oubre, and Gordon Hayward, and even LaMelo and Miles Bridges, all of those guys can pretty much guard 1 through 4. Right?
All these dudes that didn't work out in the Celtics that just like really are working out well with the Hornets.
They're really working out fabulously. So, but then you add guys like Montrez and Plumlee into that mix, and they're deep, they're decent. They can they can run, they can get up and down the floor. That's good. So, I mean, I'll definitely agree with that. I don't really see the Hawks making any significant impact. The Nets are pretty, for as much crap that I talk about KD. They have all the elite talent that they're going to need to make a surge and hit the playoffs and, push the gas when they need to and get in and, not even upset teams. They could quite literally be the story of a team who gets healthy, is the 7th or 8th seed, and then runs through the playoffs. Like that could feasibly happen too. But switching over to the Western Conference, because I think we all have pretty much agreed on terms here on the East.
I agree. First time tonight we've agreed on something.
Well, we all didn't love All-Star Weekend. I will say that we.
That's true. That's true.
We all didn't love All-Star Weekend. So here's what we got for the Western Conference. We got the Clippers, we got the Lakers, and we got the Blazers sitting at 8, 9, 10. On the outskirts there, very close, Timberwolves and Spurs sitting at 7 and 11. So, who's in between this group? Because this could be quite the toss-up between 7 and 11. You're looking at 8 games between those. Spurs and Blazers are a little bit further out, and then it starts to get a little bit tighter. It's within 3.5 games between the Lakers and the T-Wolves between 9 and 7. So that's where I would focus in, is between Lakers, T-Wolves, and Clippers.
Yeah,
somebody's fighting for a spot there.
I got a hot take here. Lakers make it all the way up to 7 and they're gonna beat out the Timberwolves for that 7th spot.
Wow. Really?
I also think the Trailblazers move into that 8th spot.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't disagree. I can't like look at the basketball that they've been playing recently since the trade.
Yeah. No, I think that's going to happen. And I think if we look at the Timberwolves, they're young still. I don't think they have it. And I think the Clippers really aren't as good as they think they are.
There's so much hinging on the Clippers just as far as health goes. Are they going to get PG or Kawhi or both back before playoffs? Could it be 2 weeks? Is it another 2 months? quite literally nobody knows. Tyronn Lue's out here just playing media games because he has like nobody
no clue.
Like, everybody's like, I don't know. Kawhi barely like talks to anybody. PG is trying to be just as mysterious as Kawhi for some reason. Like, who can be more shady about stuff? It's like they're having a contest with each other. Like, with the real Slim Shady, please stand up. It's neither of them, but they need to figure it out and get back on the court because their team, like that team, once they both get back, is deep now because they've kept their head above water. They've figured out how to be a good roster. Like Reggie Jackson is out here, another BC guy. He's out here, trying to drag his team along and honestly, like doing a respectable job. Terrence Mann's coming out of the woodwork. Luke Kennard's like coming out firing. It's like that team could make noise, right? They need one of those guys back to just like push them into that 8th seed. So I'm going to say that the Clippers actually win this one out. I'm just not a big believer in the Timberwolves. And I certainly am not a big believer in the Lakers. That team is a big dumpster fire right now.
Can't rule out LeBron.
When his partner is Russell Westbrook, I can.
I'm gonna agree that I think Kawhi is gonna come back, and I think the Clippers are in. I also think that the T-Wolves are out. I love the T-Wolves. I love Ant. I love Cat. All these animal nicknames they got going on over there. But I think they're out. I think they're out. The Lakers, they are definitely going to make the playoffs. They'll be in the playing game for sure. And there is no way that Adam Silver is letting his, Cash Queen LeBron miss the playoffs. I promise you that. The refs will make sure they will, if they're facing the Blazers, Dame is fouling out. He's fouling out that game. I'm sorry. So
you can bet on it. Put it on the books now.
I'm telling you, the Lakers will be in there. They won't make any noise. I don't know if they're going to make it to the second round, but they'll be in the playoffs.
Tell Lord Tresap now to get his house bet.
Get his house ready. Yeah.
Oh man.
But yeah. So
all right. That's the. You got any other hot takes for the Western Conference? Like, I feel like there's.
No, I love D-Book and I love Chris Paul the way they're playing right now with the Suns. It's so hard to. It's just so efficient. Obviously with the Warriors and Clay coming back, they just have. I feel like they're just good vibes in the locker room for them. And again, the way they were playing with Kuminga and all those other players. They're bringing these young guys in and they're being stars right off the bat. And it doesn't hurt that you have Steph Curry, the best 3-point shooter since Ray Allen. It's tough to fight with those two. Do I think really the surprise here is the Grizzlies? Most definitely. Again.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I could easily see the Grizzlies being knocked out in the first round of the playoffs.
Hey. No, come here.
I could too, but there's, they're that grit and grind, man. They just, I don't know, man. Ja is impressive. He keeps impressing me more and more every single year. So we'll see. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut on doubting Ja.
Yo, for real. He's been crazy. But speaking about crazy, Kyle, this episode has been crazy.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a tremendous episode of the Side to Side Sportscast. Please, special shout out to our man Kyle. Thank you so much for joining us, being an awesome guest. All right, bringing it down with the hot takes, loving LeBron. For anybody else watching the show, if you love LeBron, if you hate LeBron, if you love me or hate me or love CJ or want to get on and share anything about your points, about your teams, about your players, and about your sport, come on, let's have a chat. Come on down to the Side to Side Sportscast. We out.